Hi, everyone. This is Dominique McGee, and I am the Woman of Gold. And I am here right now with Tia Cunningham Sumter.
Hi.
Yay!
Yay.
So let me just take a moment to just share this on my page. Sorry, you all. We had some technical difficulties earlier.
Tiya.
And plus, I needed some time to get everybody on.
Okay.
How was your day today, Tia?
I had a good day, a long day, but it was a good day. How about yours?
Same.
Yeah.
Actually, this week has been really stressful. So
Oh,
I am ready to hear what you got to say today.
okay. Good stuff. Very good.
I'm sorry, you all. Just trying to get this together. This is my first time ever using this app. Okay, public. Okay, now let's try this. Okay, I got it. Okay, we finally
Yay.
here. I'm so sorry for that.
That's
Okay,
okay. You got it. You got it.
okay. So, again, my name is Dominique McGee, and I am the Woman of Gold, and I am here with life and relationship coach and author Tia Cunningham Sumter.
Hey. Hi, Dominique.
Hey. So, just a short bio on Tia. She recently released her second book, Hello Bold, The Confidence Guide for Conquering Shyness and Overcoming Fear. She has been featured in Refinery 29, Essence, and Ebony, and that's just to name a few. And the reason why Tia is so important to me is because she allows me to contribute to her blog, The Bolder Sister. So not only am I a woman of gold, but I am a proud Boulder sister.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know if Woman of Gold would have been here if it wasn't for Miss Tia.
Oh.
So I'm so
Oh, thank you,
happy, and I just said I
Dominique.
had to have you on my show so that you can share inspiration to other women, and also show that there are women who love their jobs.
Hmm.
So also, I have her first book, a conversation piece, 32 bold relationship lessons for discussing marriage, sex, and conflict, which has definitely blessed my marriage.
Oh, thank God. Praise
So,
God. Oh,
yeah, so thank you for that.
no
All right,
problem.
so tonight we will be discussing self confidence. As a woman of gold, we have to remember to take care of ourselves
Yes.
on the inside and the outside. So that way we can keep moving forward and keep thriving. So I was like, this topic is definitely
Mhm.
so timely for now. So I'll just jump right into our questions.
Mhm.
And this is just for me to get to know you a little bit more with this question.
Okay.
So what was young Tia doing at age 10?
Ooh. And real quick before I answer that, I just want to say that I am so grateful to you too for being a contributor to the Boulder Sister. You write some amazing pieces, and I've shared with Dominique and the right. She has like I've had my blog for a little while now, but one of her pieces was like the highest view piece on the blog, and the blog has
Oh,
been around for 2 years. So she is an amazing writer. If you have not gone to visit the Boulder Sister, please do, so you can check her out. She's just honest. She tells her truth. She's not afraid to share and go there, and that's why the Boulder Sister was created, is to for us to really be honest about our challenges and our struggles so that we can empower and help someone else. So, Dominique, I think you do an amazing job with that. So, I am grateful to have you as part of my team. So, thank you.
thank you.
And now 10-year-old Tia, she wouldn't have even been able to do this right here. Like if Facebook Live was around when I was 10, this would have truly freaked me out. I had thick hair, I had thick glasses, big glasses, I had bangs that covered the eyes. And that was intentional. That was really, really intentional because I was really, really self conscious. I wore a jacket all the time, whether it was 95 degrees or seven, like I couldn't have my shoulders out. I was just self conscious. I did not speak up for myself. And it just was not a good place. Like I was a friendly and sweet little girl, but in terms of like feeling confident and feeling bold and being able to do things that other bolder young girls could do, I wasn't able to do those things. I was concerned about what people thought of me. Like I put a lot of thought. Like I would rather please other people than to make sure my own needs were met. So I would say yes when I really wanted to say no. It just wasn't a good space to be in. And that went from 10 to like really almost 30, honestly. So for me, like this space I'm in now, I'm like, I know there are other women like I are looking for a way to find their own. That's why I had to create the Bolder Sister blog. That's why I had to kind of share some of my triumphs because sometimes it still hits me, but I'm able to move forward in spite of fear. But when I was 10, like that fear it took over and I couldn't do any of the things that I'm able to do now or that other 10-year-olds my age back then were able to do. Like I was really, really and not like a fun place. So it's important for me to be able to share like how I did it, where I am right now, because I'm really, really in a good space now. So,
Okay, good.
hmm
And I actually, that was actually my second question that I had for you, because I've known you now for a couple years,
hmm
and I honestly didn't, I never saw that shyness.
hmm hmm
So, and when I first looked at the Boulder Sister website, you talked about how I just wanted to break out of my shyness, and where did that come from? Where do you think that fear came from that was like kind of holding you back?
Yeah, and I think, and I've always had it. And I think it may have come from the area that I grew up in. It was more of a tougher area, but I was never as tough as everybody else I felt around me. So I think it kind of came from that, just my upbringing and just being nervous about the environment. Like again, I grew up around a lot of like strong women. My mom was a single mom, and they were all single moms, like basically in my neighborhood. There were very few dads, but a lot of the girls were tough. We grew up in a rougher area, so people were tough and had to fight. And I just never felt like I would fight. I would defend myself, but I always felt like I don't know, like I was different from other people. So I think that difference kind of kept me to myself. Then it made me kind of reserved, like, well, I'm not as tough and I'm not as strong as everyone else. So just keep quiet, right? And please other people and make sure everybody else's needs are taken care of before your own. So I guess I've never felt as strong as all the people that were around me. And because of that, I think that caused me to kind of retreat back and just like, well, just keep to yourself. Don't stand out, just fall back and nobody will even pay attention to you and notice you. Keep those shoulders covered, right? Just kind of fall in the background. So I think that's kind of where it came from. I never felt like I was as strong as the people around me. So that caused me to kind of do the opposite of what everybody else was doing.
Okay. So what do you think was that turning point? What was that point where you were just like, okay, it's time for me to embrace myself and embrace my differences?
I think it started, but I wasn't fully there yet. But it started with one of my previous jobs. I think I was responsible. One of my coworkers was out or something like that, and they were like, "Well, check my email." So I was checking their email while they were out, and I stumbled across an email that said, "Should we invite Tia to the meeting?" And the person was like, "No, she never contributes anything anyway,
Oh
so
my
no."
goodness.
I think that, yeah, I think that was the beginning of like, oh, okay. And I could, at first I was upset, like, wow, they talk about me behind my back like this. But then I thought about it and I was like, they didn't lie. I would go to a meeting and I would introduce myself, and that was the only thing you would hear from me in that entire meeting. I wouldn't ask a question. I wouldn't contribute anything. And again, I'm in my 30s at this point. So, like I was telling you before, it went from 10 up until like maybe just 7 years ago when I started kind of feeling good and finding my own. But after I saw that email, that's when it began to click. Like something is not working. Like you're encountering people and you're passing people and people are coming in and out of your life and they don't know how amazing you are. So I think back about that now. I think about all the people over the years who they didn't get to see the Tia that I am today. And I'm like, they really missed out on seeing how I do have things to contribute, how smart I am, how confident I can be. So once I got to that point, I started thinking like I got to do something different. I have something to say. I have a voice and it needs to be heard. I never want anybody to count me out again. I never want anybody to forget that I'm in the room. So I have to start saying something. So, and I made it up in my mind. Every meeting, say at least one thing, right? That first meeting. Next meeting, say two things, but just do not let people forget or think that you're not important enough to be in that room. Like, I want to be in the room where things happen. I got that from Hamilton. I went to that play and they sang a
Mhm.
whole song about being in the room where it happens. And I'm like, I will never get invited to that room if they don't think I have a voice or if they don't think I deserve to be there or if they don't think that I'm important enough. So I have to open my mouth and I have to remind them I'm here and what I have to say is valuable and I have thoughts, I have suggestions, I have ideas, and you're going to hear them.
Mm. Oh my goodness. So um so once you made it up in your mind that okay, I'm here and I have a voice, how did you actually open up? Like how did you start opening up in meetings? Was it something where it was just like, okay, I got the agenda for the meeting, so I'm gonna think of some questions to ask during that meeting. How was that for you?
Yeah, so it helped too having support system like people who really can see the potential in you and encourage you like you're awesome and I know you can do this. So I heard that a lot and
Mm,
that helped too because I think people saw it even when I wasn't already showing it. They knew that it was there. So that helped me to get a little bit more comfortable. But then I would think about like the meetings before they actually started and I would think like, okay, well this one is going to be about this topic. What ideas do you have? What are you curious about, right? So at least like, and to me, it didn't even matter if it was a question. Like just say something. Like I cannot be the only person in the room who has nothing to contribute. So I'm like, I'm either going to ask a question, I'm going to ask somebody to clarify something for me, or either I'm going to suggest something that I thought about before the meeting started. But I can't sit here and be, because usually I would be the only one in the room who says nothing. And that doesn't feel good. You leave and everybody's like, thank you for contributing. That was a good idea. That was a good suggestion. See you next time. And then they're saying nothing to me because they forgot I was there or I didn't contribute anything. So I think I planned in the beginning, I planned what my suggestions would be, but then I made sure like pay attention while people are talking and
mhm.
look for something to ask a question about, right? Like don't let that meeting pass without saying something, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of how I started getting in that habit.
Okay. Would you say that that's something that still is a little bit hard for you, or is it? has it gotten easier?
It's so much. I have so much to say now. People be like, "Man, can other people talk now?" So, so, and I like to chalk it up to my age. But I spoke to a professor on shyness, and he was saying, like, sometimes age has a little bit to do with it because you are set in your ways and you're comfortable, you're established in your career, and you have your friends. But I felt like once I turned 40, like, I stopped caring so much about what other people thought. Like, I'm like, I got to do me. And if the question is stupid to somebody else, I don't care because it was something that I was curious about. So I think getting older kind of helped too, because now I am in a space where, so what? They can laugh. They can think it was stupid. So what, right? I'll still be okay. I'll still ask another question the next time. I got an answer that I needed. So I stopped putting so much pressure on myself and stopped worrying so much about what other people thought. I'm like, I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to dress how I want to dress. I'm going to wear big, funky, crazy hair if I want to. I'm going to wear bright lipstick. I'm going to wear whatever. I'm like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to love me and I'm going to be me. And whoever does not like me, that's okay. Because I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me.
Awesome. Yeah, you said something really important. We gotta kind of stop caring what other people think because we hold ourselves back. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
like a chain, that's like a wall, like
Mm-hmm.
that's like in your face, and we just
Mm-hmm.
gotta like be like,
Yep.
hey, I'm here,
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
and I care about it. Yeah, so thank you
Mm-hmm.
for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of touched on it a little bit. But what makes you so passionate about boosting a woman's self-confidence? Also, let me, before you answer that, you're also a confidence coach, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I wanted to make that known.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what makes you so passionate about boosting women's confidence?
I think it's because of my own journey. And I just know there are so many gifts and talents that sit on the shelf. And there's so many people who are waiting on so many other people's gifts and talents, to solve their challenges and to solve their problems. And I know that there are so many women who are holding back and they're not being true to themselves. And I think the moment that I realized that for myself, like one of the sayings I say, I got this from a coworker some years ago, but he said, like, life is once. And I think once I heard that, that just did something for me. I'm like, I wanted to write books. I want to start my blog. Like, there's so much stuff I want to do, and I can't do it staying in a space of fear. And I knew that I was not the only one. There are so many women who are not living up to their fullest potential. They're not being their truest selves. They're not pursuing their passions. They're not pursuing their dreams because they are so afraid of what other people are thinking, or they're just too fearful, just doubting themselves, thinking it's not going to work. And I want to encourage these women, right? I just believe we all should be following our dreams. We should be doing what we love, even if it's your side hustle. There should be some part of your life where you are smiling and you are shining and you are feeling good because this is what you feel like you're called to do. And I feel like there are so many women who are like miserable. They're unhappy. They're like thinking to themselves, there's got to be more to life than this. And that's because they're letting fear kind of hold them back. And I just want to encourage women, like, go get it, right? Like, life is once, whatever it is. I don't care who thinks it's stupid or who thinks it won't work. Like, tune those people out and stay focused and just go get it. Like, if you want it, go get it. And I also decided, like, a few years ago too, I want to live a life with no regret. So that means when I get older, I don't want to look back and say to myself, oh, if only, what if? What
Yeah.
if I had to just try? I don't want that for my life. I want to use every gift, every talent that God has blessed me with. I want to bless other people. And I cannot do that if I'm afraid. And other women cannot do that if they are afraid. So I just want to encourage them. I want to push them. And I'm a tough coach too. I'm a coach, but I'm going to get
Oh.
you. I'm like, don't tell me you want to do something if you playing or if you're not serious. Because do not waste my time because I will be all over you like, well, what's up with it? When you going to do it? What's happening, right? And some people like, you too rough, you too hard on me. I'm like, well, then don't talk talk to me about it. I'm not the one unless you're serious. But I'm like, just go get it. Go get it. Like, time is short. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us, young or old. So, like, what you want, man, it's your time to shine. There's nothing holding you back but you.
Hmm. So, so where does a person like you, like, when you have those days where you're just like in a slump, like where you're just like,
Hmm.
man, this is not working out. You know, I'm so
Hmm.
passionate. I know I'm gonna get there, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, how do you bring yourself out of that?
And that's a really good question too, because I had those days when I was writing both of the books. And I was like, I'm not feeling like writing today. I'm not feeling all of this. Like, even though I said I wanted to write books since I was like 16 years old, I'm like, today ain't the day. I'm not feeling it. But then I had to remind myself that book not about you. Like, you, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
writing books so I can read it by myself, right? And I'm not writing it for an audience of one. There are people waiting for something like that, right? Like the relationship book. There were marriages that were probably struggling and in trouble, and they're looking for somebody to teach them how to communicate, right? There were women who like, how do I speak up in meetings? How do I go for what I want, right? So I can't let myself get in the way of that. I can't get lazy. I can't relax because somebody's waiting on my gift. And my life is bigger than me and it is more than me. So when I think those things, that lights that fire under me. Like, get up. Stop being lazy. Write that next chapter, right? This is not about you. And I think when women start thinking like that, and sometimes we're okay with letting ourselves down, right? Like I could disappoint myself. Like, if you don't want to write today, don't write today. But I can't disappoint the woman who's sitting up in that meeting not saying anything and
Hmm.
who's letting fear control her life. I can't disappoint her. So what I do, I'm doing for her or for that couple that's struggling in their marriage. I can't let their marriage just deteriorate because I'm being lazy and not having the desire or the energy to make this happen. So it's bigger than me, and that's what I think about when I'm in that slump. And then I know I got to get up and make it happen.
Wow, wow, that's powerful. If you could only share one key thing that needs to happen in order for a woman to boost self confidence, what would it be? Like, what's the one thing, if you could choose one, that you would say needs
Hmm.
to happen?
Her self talk.
Mm,
Just the conversations that you have with yourself, like we all have them. It's the thoughts that tell us, girl, you can't do that, that's stupid,
mm-hmm.
nobody's gonna like that, nobody's gonna buy that, nobody's gonna want that, that's the silliest thing you ever came up with, you can't do that. You got to change that. You got to change that self-talk, and you have to start feeding yourself positive conversation, positive words, because everything you do, every action, it starts from what you think. So whether I think I can or I can't, I think this was a quote and I forgot who said it, but you're right. So if you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. So whatever you think about yourself is going to manifest in your actions and how you show up. So it's first got to start up here. You got to change your mindset and you have to talk to yourself like you love yourself. And you have to like the empowering I want to do to other women, I have to do it with myself first. Right? I can't coach anybody else if I'm telling myself you're not a good coach. They're not going to listen to you. You're not going to help anybody, right? I won't be effective as a coach if I keep having those conversations with myself. So I have to feed myself positive things. Like when I would get ready for a big workshop or get ready to teach, I would look myself in the mirror and say, you can do it. And then I'll say it 3 times, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I made a little chant out of it and a little dance, like, you can do it, you can do it. And then it just kind of motivated me and it lifted my spirits and it reminded me, like, yeah, I can. I got this. And I'll walk out of that restroom, shoulders back, like ready to go get it. So I think changing the conversations that you have with yourself is where you have to begin.
Awesome, awesome. So like literally, like if you like sitting at your desk or something and there's a negative thought that comes to your head, like
Mm-hmm.
you like literally just be like, nope, I
Mm-hmm.
got this.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
Okay.
you can say something like, too, this thought has no place here. It is not healthy or happy for me. So it's got to go. You got to go.
Mm,
Or you replace it and say the exact opposite of it. So if I'm telling
Mm.
myself, girl, you're not going to be good in that meeting, say the exact opposite of that. You're going to be amazing in that meeting. Your idea is going to change the whole course of whatever that project is. So you have to change that. So it's positive affirmations, reminding yourself maybe in the morning, like, you got this. This is going to be an awesome day. You're going to be so successful. You're going to be productive, or whatever you need to do, but change that conversation and replace the negative with the positive.
Mhm.
And thoughts that
Awesome.
don't work, they got to go. It's no place for thoughts that don't work.
Hmm. Yeah, and you know what? That actually does work. I've challenged myself to kind of, instead of saying the negative words, like
Mm-hmm.
don't, like I
Mm-hmm.
try to train myself to say it in a more positive way.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, so that's really necessary. I had you fill out a questionnaire, and you said something that I kind of wanted to talk with you about. So could you
Mm-hmm.
explain what you mean when you said that women can have healthy relationships with themselves?
Yep. So and it's all about that conversation. It's also, so it's about a couple of things. So it's about the negative self-talk, which is no, it's not healthy for you, right? And it has to go. But it's also about the awareness, right? So I have to be honest with myself, and I have to, like, with my strengths as well as my weaknesses and my challenges. So if I pretend like those things don't exist, then I'm kind of fooling myself or pulling the wool over my own eyes. So having a healthy relationship with yourself means both of those things. Like, I have to believe in myself, first of all, but I also have to be honest with myself. Like, things I struggle with, I have to correct it or get help with it or study it or improve it somehow or teach myself or coach myself or get a coach, right? I can't think that those things don't exist. So having a healthy relationship, just like a relationship with your mate, right? One of the things that's key is being honest with each other, being able to tell each other the truth, being able to communicate, trusting one another. So those same things can happen with yourself. I can tell myself the truth. I can be honest with myself. I can trust myself, and I can believe in myself, and I can love myself. I can spend time with myself. I can date myself. So the same things I give to my husband, I can be giving to me too, right? I give
Hmm.
him words of encouragement. You can do it, baby. You got it, right? I can tell myself that same thing, right? I can spend time with myself. I can have conversations with myself. And I talk to myself, and I don't care who see me doing it. I'll be walking down the street like, girl, why you do that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we are going to do it. Yes, that makes sense. So I don't care. And I stop caring who's looking. I'm like, this is about me, myself, and I have to talk myself through some things sometimes. But having a healthy relationship with yourself is all those things. So being honest with yourself, working on the things that you don't like, but improving that negative self-talk so that you're stronger and believing in yourself a little bit more is the key.
Okay, awesome. Um, um, just a few more questions.
Oh, you're fine.
Earlier in the interview, I had asked you how do you kind of pull yourself out of that slump.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a follow-up question to that is, how do you even find the boldness to pull yourself up out of that?
Mm-hmm.
To say like, okay, I'm gonna make these steps to change how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Um, And I think for me, like, I can't do anything unless I start to believe that I can and have those positive conversations with myself. And it really goes back to that life with no regrets. I don't want to regret not speaking up. I don't want to regret missing opportunities, because that's the other big thing, Dominique, I think that I forgot to share. I miss opportunities. Like, staying quiet, I think people were trying to connect with me. I didn't understand, and I
Mm,
didn't reach back out because this fear was in the way. Like, I remember years ago going to a Moody Bible Institute marriage conference, and I met a woman there. Like, she was trying to network with me. She asked for my number, and she was in their publishing department, and she knew I was a writer for this blog, and she was trying to connect with me, and And I think I was too fearful to like to call her back and just connect with her. But like I feel like at that time that could have been my book. I could have had a book with Moody Publishing, but I didn't connect with her. I didn't network properly because all this fear was in the way. And that's just one kind of opportunity that I missed. And I just feel like just over the years, like, man, had you just opened up at that moment, or had you networked or went to this event or said yes to this, like I would have been a lot further in my career than I
Mm,
am now. And so when I think back on those things, I'm like, I just can't retreat back. I can't I can't sit, and look back and be like, oh, if you had connected with that woman. I don't want to be in that space anymore. I don't want to miss any more opportunities or anything like that. So for those reasons too, I have to stay vocal. I have to raise my voice. I have to ask for things. I have to attend events that make me nervous. I have to network because that wasn't a good feeling. That wasn't a good feeling when I look back over my life and I think about like, man, you could have been so much further, or you could have had this book over here, or you could have been doing this with your life or with your career. I don't want that for myself. So that's what helps me to stay motivated. Like, yeah, I don't want to say, what if, oh, if only, I don't like those words, and I
yeah.
don't want to be in a position to say them anymore.
Mm, okay. Um, so share a little bit more about your book, Hello Bold.
Thank you. I actually have a little copy right here.
Yay.
It's like my baby. It's like my baby. I have two daughters, but my books are like my other two kids. Because there was a labor in making sure that they happen. But Hello Bold is all about empowering women to overcome shyness and kind of conquer fear. So it tackles a lot of the areas where women feel fear and shyness. So, like dating, your spiritual walk, sometimes just being a Christian can put you in a space, right? Sometimes we're afraid to even share that with people, worried about judgment. Dating, career. So, career is a big chapter. The dating is a big chapter. So, it's all those areas. Networking is its own chapter because that is where I felt most of my fear. I'm like, I
Mm,
hate going to networking events. I'm like, they are awkward. They are this. So I dedicate a whole chapter to like, this is what you do when you go to a networking event. Like, plan what you want
mm,
to happen. Do you want to walk away with phone numbers? Are you looking for a photographer for your blog? Are you looking for people to meet up with, a mastermind group? So think about your goal before you go to a networking event. Also, remember that everybody there is probably feeling the same way you do. I don't know very many people who are like, yay, a networking event, right? Everybody, they know they have to go because it's going to benefit them. But I don't see people like really, really excited because a lot of people are nervous in that setting. So it talks about networking. It talks about dating, how if you see, somebody you're interested in, like, be bold, say hello, right? Because the men that I interview who are in the book, they're like, sometimes we just as nervous as the women are. We want to approach you, but we don't know whether or not you're going to receive us well. So they get just as nervous. So I'm encouraging women in that area and just a whole bunch of areas where we tend to have the most fear. That's what I covered in the book. The book also it has interviews of that I did with other bolder women who I deem are bolder, like the relationship editor at Essence Magazine. She shares her story on boldness. The president and CEO she was at that time of Lenovo. She shares like, this is my story. This is how I encourage women to step up and speak out. So it's a lot of interviews of women that I deem as powerful who are sharing their story in those different areas.
okay. Awesome. Awesome. So where can they get the book?
Thanks for asking. It is available on Amazon. So, and it's $15, but available on Amazon, ready to ship, ready to go. It's just waiting on you.
All right. Um, okay, so how can you don't just coach women, right?
I don't. I coach. So my specialties are couples, and then I also coach women around the area of confidence and boldness and pursuing dreams and passions.
Okay. So how can people connect with you for your coaching?
Absolutely. So they can go to thebouldersister.com and they can find my contact information there. They can email me. They can also email me at coaching at lifeediting.com to inquire about rates or about the coaching process itself.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So I'll include all of that in the link or the bio underneath
Thank you.
the video. Yeah, of course. Just want to take a second to say hey to the people who are watching and who are commenting. Thank you. I love you guys. Okay. So my last and final question. So I empower women to live a life of joy and success. So would you say that you're truly living a life of joy and success, and why?
I would definitely say that. I am in such a good place. Like I am like it feels good when you can own all of you and you can love all of you, the good, the bad, the in between. And I think I am in that space.
Mm,
I'm in love with me, like that healthy relationship we talked about having with yourself earlier. I have that. Like me and me, we are good and we feel good together. I'm in a really, really good space. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. So when I said when I was 16, I'm going to write a book when I get old, I did that. And
mm,
that feels so good. And that's why I want to encourage other women to like do the thing, keep the promises you make to yourself. And I think that's why I feel so successful right now because I keeping the promises that I made to myself. And I deserve it. And that feels good to do that because I'm telling myself that I'm worthy of it and I'm important and I deserve it and I should go get those things. So that's the space I'm in. So I do feel successful and I do feel happy and there is joy because I'm doing those things.
okay. Awesome. Well, Tia, I truly, truly enjoyed
Me
this
too.
interview. I got to learn a lot more about you that I didn't know.
Hmm.
And I just want to thank you again for joining because you are a woman of gold.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're so humble
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, so thank you for sharing. Um, so is there anything else that you want to add
I'll
before
never say just check Dominique out on theboldsister.com because girl can write. She will inspire you. So check her out there.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me too.
Of course, of course. All right, you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Have a good night.
Good night.